Yes, we're going to a Game 5. That's exactly what we want in a semi-final. And, well, Fnatic very convincingly bringing it to Game 5. And picks and bans absolutely crucial. And one pick in particular from the side of H2K, we had a lot to say about that. Kog'Maw.
Well, let's start by talking about the Kog'Maw and Dentist. And as I said, I know you really disliked it.
Yeah, I don't like the Kog'Maw at all. Like, especially it was picked last rotation. And with what has been picked before and what was build up by H2K, that just doesn't scream like a Kog'Maw. The Kog'Maw in that situation has no protection. The Annie and the Kog'Maw has no lane dominance, and that is everything you want with the Annie lock-in. So you want Graves, you want strong laners, you want Draven. I want Draven. But Graves Annie is a lane that just 100% works. The Kog'Maw offers nothing, as we can see on the screen now. We have Zed, we have Huni on Vladimir, we have Rek'Sai, we have the Thresh. Whoever gets onto that Kog'Maw will kill him. If they make a pick on Kog'Maw, that guy is dead, and they have no protection whatsoever coming in for the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, especially when you look at the rest of the comp. Everything wants to dive in. There is nothing holding Kog'Maw's hand. I do want to touch on Fnatic. I do think they need some praise, despite it being very late in the series. They adjusted their jungle pick to something that Reignover has done excessively well with during the regular split. And very importantly, Huni moves away from a non-smite top laner, a non-tank top laner, and lo and behold, he has a fantastic game. He was forced to flash early, start W on Vladimir. He still bounced back and got into a fantastic position. We've talked about Huni's champion pool several times during the split, and it's showing in this series as well. When he's on a carry, AP, mage, damage dealer, he does well. When he's on a tank, utility, team-based champion top, he doesn't perform to the same level.
Yeah, troll pool to expand the champion pool. And just a quick stat, 12 AP champions picked for Huni in the regular season. Fnatic went 9-3 with it, and it shows how comfortable he is.
I absolutely believe if they would have gotten the Vladimir, the Lissandra, anything else, 1 or 2 games earlier, this series would already been over. The Lee Sin didn't work, Huni had no impact on the games whatsoever, and we saw what that guy is capable of doing if you give him what he needs. The Vladimir, flawless.
Yeah, and he also looked incredibly comfortable on it and the way he moved on it. Let's pull one of the replays up on the screen showcasing, I think, showing how the Kog'Maw, if you get caught out of position, it's not going to go well for you.
Yeah, just before this team fight, they'd also been able to kill Ryu up top, and the teleport from Huni to come down to the mid lane. Look how easy Huni's just going to run Kasing and Hyanin down.
That's what you want to do as a Vladimir. You want to come in the flank, and as we can see, insane skills by Huni. He does the flank perfectly, pulls in, pulls out the R, and then just kills them. With Zed and Vladimir coming from the flank, there's not much to do for the carries.
No, definitely not. And I also think we have to give a couple of minutes to Febiven. Again, it's a swing in the mid lane where either Ryu or Febiven just grabs control of the entire match. It took Febiven 2 or 3 attempts before he was able to solo Ryu, and I'm saying that like it's a bad thing. It is a favorable matchup. It's one that he played well, and the moment there was an item advantage, Febiven pressed it home, got a kill solo in lane, and then just ran away with the match.
Yeah, Zed was banned away from him 10 times in the regular season. It actually wasn't banned out in any of the previous games or in the semi-final, but just shows that how adaptive you have to be and how many things you have to keep into account when you're in a best-of-5 series, that you forget that Febiven's Zed is still up and how he does on that. Looking at some other things, our featured matchup wasn't in the mid lane, it was in the bottom lane. And for me, looking at the entire split since Kasing came in, it is actually surprising that in the first game he was absolutely dominating on Annie, but we haven't seen that same level of control out of him in the other games.
Not entirely, and I don't really know why not, because he transitioned to the Thresh. So as you said, game 1, Kasing put H2K on their back and did well. Then the Thresh didn't land hooks. Similarly for Yellowstar, he was not super impactful in games 1 and 2 or even 3 to an extent, but this matchup, death sentence after death, at the mid game, despite what Huni and Febiven were doing, a lot of those kills and setups was thanks to the fact that Yellowstar was, soloing people one after the other. I think there was a chain of 4 or 5 hooks in a row that he landed.
Yellowstar understood what he had to do as, obviously understood what he had to do in the Thresh. He's an excellent Thresh player, but he gave Jinx what he needs, the escape, the reliable escape with the Lantern, and he did it perfectly in almost every single team fight that came into the mid game. He made the picks, he did the peeling. It was just free damage for Steelback all team fight long. You can't do it any better. While Kasing, in this series so far, dominating first game performance, then in the loss, rather non-existent, and then going on to the series, not a huge factor.
This is the first game from picks and bans. You could look at the team comps and go, Okay, let's exclude Lee. I very heavily favor Fnatic's comp because of the Kog'Maw, because of the options that it would have to actually solo him out. And the other interesting thing is every single team that has picked blue side has lost their respective game. So, you know, games 1-3 was Fnatic's choice. They lost 2 and 4 H2Ks. They've lost. The red side ability to counterpick is showing up in this particular series more than it has in the past, and it's just an interesting trend to keep track of.
Yep, and very interesting going into Game 5, the counterpicking and picks and bans. And I have the feeling that Fnatic, with this good adaptation in Vladimir, it will free them up so much, because either H2K has to go ban out of Vladimir or not ban out of Vladimir and let him have it and leave out some of the other things that they've banned out before, like a Hecarim, like a Rumble, like a Shyvana, and then Fnatic will be able to go for that, and I feel like they are in a very good position for that Game 5.
Yes, they absolutely are. Like, if you ask me, the Vladimir ban is highly likely coming in. And if you want to ban the Vladimir, you have to sacrifice one of the others. If you're H2K, you saw Fnatic running that's my teleport top laner in 3 games. And in 3 games, it was almost a non-factor.
Yeah.
So looking at the ban so far for H2K, what top laner are going to take out? It will be the Shyvana, if you ask me. And then it comes all down. How good is the Shyvana? How impactful can Huni be in that game as a Smite teleport top laner? And what does H2K do against that? It's all mental now.
Yeah, I think so too. The momentum has shifted in Fnatic's favor quite heavily. The fact that there's heavy top lane focus as far as bans are concerned now has to add in the threat of the Vlad. The other 2 outside of Shyvana that H2K have banned in every single game was Rumble and Hecarim. And we know how terrifying Huni can be on those champions. So the only thing that is theoretically stopping Fnatic from winning Game 5 is themselves. If they get themselves baited into this mindset that a Smite TP top lane is the only way to go, it might not work because it hasn't been super impactful yet.
Yeah, and the thing we've seen the trend continue, that H2K does have to be pretty far ahead, and if they fall behind versus a team like Fnatic, there's not much they can do. So how should they be looking at this next game? Should they be looking at more aggressive picks?
It's really tough, right? Because the average game time of this entire series is 33 minutes and 59 seconds. It's 34 minutes, which tells you a couple of things. The teams are very good at closing the match out. Whichever team gets ahead finishes it. They don't dawdle. They don't run to 40, 50 minutes and give their opponents a chance to come back. Secondarily to that, the team that gets ahead early wins. So by 10 or 20 minutes on the clock, whichever team has a lead, according to our last 4 games, is going to close this one out. Just as a quick aside, I think Fnatic's got the momentum. I think Fnatic are in a stronger position based on how the strats have gone out. And also Ryu has brought the curse with him. When he was playing KT Bullets in the old OGN, he would go 2-0 up and then lose the subsequent 3 games. They went 2-1 up, and now they're losing subsequent. So history may be repeating itself.
I want to see the clash of the early game teams. I want to see Fnatic versus H2K, as I know. No Smite teleport, please. No Kog'Maw that scales into the late game. I want to see early game aggression all over the place, and I want to see a game closing out at 30 minutes with a better team winning. I think it's going to be Fnatic. They have the momentum. They have everything what they need, and they are very stable when it comes to their mentality. So I give it to Fnatic.
Yeah, what did we always used to say? Everyone fights everyone, and in the end, Fnatic wins or gets to the finals. We'll see what happens. It all comes down to Game 5. The winner goes to the spring finals, and the loser can only hope for 3rd place at best. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Couple mechanical misplays, but decision making, we're doing really, really good shot calls. So it's like, how's like the energy? Are you guys like level excitement?
It's fine, I think.
Yeah, because it's been showing. You guys are doing really, really good calls.
Ryu, oh, he can jump on.
In. He's gonna try to dash his way out of stage. Oh, the flash too.
Nice.
And he gets
First
popped
blood.
for first blood. Huni flashing in. Yellowstar's one that is going to pick up that kill, however.
Nice. Really nice.
Steal back, trying to move away the Acathian surprise, a ton of damage there, and a double kill comes in for Otawamne. The fight's going haywire. Not quite done just yet. Lulex trying to bait a little bit more out as Yellowstar is fighting with Ryu here. He's gonna be able to pick him off though. And 32 minutes into this game, Fnatic are really wanting this one. Looks like we're going to game number 5.